Hello, hello. We are live, coming to you live. It is a Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you all, whoever happens to be watching at whatever point in time. But I'm going to be taking a look at an article real quick. Not going to go for very long, but want to add this in. I do want to apologize for any kind of banging or hammering or something you hear. They are roofing something across the street. So apologies for any of those sounds that might come through. But here, we're going to take a look at this. So first of all, what has been dominating the news for the last day or so, maybe 2 days, as it was sort of moving into the ramifications of this? It's been student loans. Student loans have been the top of mind, the front of mind, the in front of your face topic that's being discussed. And yet this topic that we're going to talk about right now is of utmost importance, incredibly important, and it's completely just absent. Maybe you're a bit more astute. Maybe you're taking a look at this from a different angle. Maybe you are aware of this, but a lot of people are not. So take a look at this headline here. The U.S. carries out airstrikes in Iraq and Syria. Did any of you hear about this? If you did, drop a comment in the chat. I should probably make it so I can see. There we go. So this, let me see if I'm able to do this. Ta-da, little trick. Hit that and we can take a look. I see Trinity, I see you there. Yeah, so everyone's talking about student loans. Meanwhile, what are we doing over here? We are airstriking in Iraq and Syria. No one's even, I'm not hearing this anywhere. Did you hear this in the news? Is this frontline, or I should say headline, front of center here? Nope, not at all. I haven't heard this all. The attacks were against weapons storage facilities used by Iranian-backed militias that the Pentagon said had conducted drone strikes against places in Iraq where American troops and spies and diplomats were located. First of all, kind of your fault. This is spy on spy. Isn't that sort of, kind of part of the whole thing? You have spies there. They're not supposed to be there. Anyway, it seems interesting to do this, but let's take a look at this. The United States carried out airstrikes Monday morning. Probably would have been Tuesday for a lot of us here in the States, in Iraq and Syria against two Iranian-backed militias. So all of a sudden, we're striking in these different places. Did we declare war? Where's this happening? The reason why this is important, you have this almost two-pronged attack, not militarily, two-pronged attack in the media. So the student loan thing, it was released on Wednesday, right? This is when the details came out. This is now front of center. Everyone's talking about this. This was supposed to be the administration's big win, right? We did this thing. We said that we would take a look at the student loan thing. I'm not even going to get into the student loan thing. But the second thing was this. So if an administration is in trouble, everybody knows this. If you've been following world politics for any period of time, if you're in trouble at home, you start a conflict somewhere. There's an inherent rallying around troops, inherent rallying around, right? They've used this so many times now, it almost doesn't work anymore. And I don't think it's worked here. But they can say, oh, at any moment, this thing could shift to look at these different things that we're doing. But here's why I think this is strictly media. Because you can read this and say, well, if the militias are attacking, then obviously we should do this. But take a look. The strikes were the second time that Biden has ordered the use of force in the region. The U.S. carried out the strikes in eastern Syria late in February against buildings belonging to the Pentagon. Or, I'm sorry, what the Pentagon said were Iranian-backed militias. They kind of slid this in here. So they said it's for retaliation. And I'm going to save you some time because there's a whole lot of fluff here, a whole lot of people's names. They try to bring in Trump, all this kind of stuff. But I think the most important thing, and I'll put the link to this in the comments, or I should say in the description below. Look at these here. So these last couple of paragraphs, the United States took necessary, appropriate, and deliberate action designed to limit the risk of escalation, but also to send a clear and unambiguous deterrent message. Look at this. How the militias in Iran will respond is unclear. The American officials said the relatively small set of airstrikes, which if you look at here, it's 500 to 2,000 pound bombs. They talk about this earlier there. They said that this relatively small set of airstrikes are unlikely to stop the militia attacks. So this is done in retaliation to the militia. They admit this isn't really going to do anything to help with the militia. In fact, if you look here, after the February strikes, there was a lull in militia activity against the American locations for several weeks. So they attacked in February, and then things died down after these strikes here. But then an even more dangerous threat emerged: the small armed drones. This is from stuff that was happening in February. This has nothing to do with what they're talking about. I wanted to bring this up because right now they're starting to unleash a whole bunch of different reasons why we need to stay on top of certain topics, why we need to maintain the leadership that we have. It's sort of like if you start a bunch of things, you say like, well, I really need to finish this. And this is, I think, where the campaign's going. Look, we started with student loans, but there's still problems. We need to fix it. That's a social error. That's a domestic problem. And then you've got this going on here with Middle East. All you have to do is drum up stuff in the Middle East to say, like, we're starting this conflict. Do we really need to finish these different things out? We need to route out fill in the blank from fill in the blank country. So this was supposed to be against Iran. It's carried out in Iraq and Syria, areas that are over there. So this is, in my opinion, this is kind of a nothing, but it's sort of set the piece so these things can pop up later. Anyway, I wanted to bring it up because there's just the media right now is not telling you all the things that are going on. This is sort of a setup for later on. So when this comes out in the news that things in the Middle East are popping off and we really need to maintain leadership, this is going to be one of the things I think they're going to use going into the midterms to say, hey, we're in a crisis here. We really need to maintain this leadership here. So anyway, just thought I would redirect people's attention to other things that might also be of importance. So I hope you have a good day. Have a great Friday. Now that I've told you all these things, try not to think about it, because clearly this is done for attention. So don't feed the trolls. Later.